Hello again. Well, let's look at this model that I found on the internet, browsing the internet, and let's get straight into the drawing of this model, which probably will be, well, there are many options there. There's the envelope option, which is basically a line which will connect the head, fingers, toes, will come straight down here to this angle, and then we'll wrap up the rest of the body. So a rectangular shape with an angle, let's say that angle, this side, like about 30 degrees angle. Or the other option, which would be also an easy compared to, let's say, the envelope option, which I would say the envelope might confuse you because it's quite a lot of wrapping to do, and imaginary wrapping, which is basically coming to this from that angle to this angle, straight, that angle, that one, and including the head. Now the other option is a axis line, that one here, going right at the leg, coming there. So it's like a zigzag. Axis, action line, kneecap, foot, and then add that line there, and almost like a S curve of two elbows here. So head, axis line, and it's kind of bended inwards, coming up here to the kneecap, straight to the foot, adding the other foot here, or just leaving that, we can add it later on, and a zigzag or a S curve line connecting both elbows. Okay, let's go to the drawing board. Okay, so let's do the axis line. Now the thing is where to place the figure. Will we place it here? If I place it here, the body will come up here, leg, kneecap, leg, so that's not a bad option, but the thing is that it might be too far from the end of the paper, of the page, or the format. Or I can place it a little bit more to the left, to the right, sorry, and then that would be a better option. A little bit more place it to the right, and because the left hand goes far off, then I think that would be a better option. Okay, let's do that. Then you have axis line, kneecap, shin, foot, head, axis line, hip, kneecap, shin, foot. Okay. And I've said the axis line is a bit bended inwards, which this is, and we've spoken about the slightest curve of the upper hand, left and right, there, and lower arm, upper arm, shoulder, and the upper arm, right upper arm. Then you have the bending of the body, hip, calf, foot, shin, kneecap, thigh, breast, upper body, knee, elbow, fingers, and the other foot, and there is an angle there of the shin of the other foot here. Foot itself, heel, foot, platform where the model is sitting, and the face. But before we do the face, there's the neck, which is the line of the neck is a little bit more inwards here. So you have the spine, shoulder, neck, set, ear, portrait, eyebrow, eye, nose, upper and lower lip, hair, shadowy part, light part. The light comes from this side, from the right hand side. A little bit wider upper torso, and the torso is twisted. So you go the shoulder, right shoulder coming higher than the left shoulder. So it's quite higher, even higher than what I've done here. And then upper arm, I'm correcting myself now. I'm still within the S curve previously marked, roughly, and bum here, hip, we have the thigh, knee cup. Now what I like about the knee cup and the shin and calf is that it's like a wrinkle here, but it's not a wrinkle, it's where the muscles are turned. So I'll keep all that area on a soft darker tone and just mark this turn here. And the other shin, actually it's a little bit closer to this foot. That foot is closer to this foot. And a darker tone of the thigh. Darker tone. All this area is of a darker tone. The right hand side, the left hand side, sorry. Okay. Hair. Curls. Let me sharpen the charcoal as well. So that's a sandpaper. Get the sandpaper and grind as much charcoal as I can and have the profile a little bit sharper. Now what I think I should do is to get the dynamism of the pose, the way that she's turning her body. It's like a millisecond. She turned her body like this, and then get those lines a little bit more forceful, more angular, more energy, and have the lower part here a little bit more of a line. And I'm correcting myself here now, getting that line slightly bended here, and make the thigh line a little bit darker. The paper is not helping a lot. It's not best paper, but it's a paper. You can draw on anything, to be honest. I mean on any paper, not anything, but any brand of paper. And what I see here is that the elbow is further out. At least I've got the composition good, so I've left a little bit more space on the right, on the left, and more on. So I pushed the model on the right, and I have more space on the left here. Okay, and the lower arm, upper arm here. What I need to get right now here is the chin. Give her a bit more of a prominent chin. More shadow. Eyebrow here. Although the portrait is quite small, so I cannot engage a lot with the portrait. What I've noticed now is that I brought the upper shoulder a little bit too high. Maybe that line would be more accurate. And the neck, yes, the neck, that's an issue here. So the head actually is further up. I owe her longer neck. So I'm raising the ear, head, chin, eyebrow, looking slightly upwards with her eyes, nose here, upper and lower mouth, lip, and the neck slightly darker. Give it a darker tone of the upper arm, a general darker tone to distinguish it from the right arm, although I can give it a darker tone to the right arm as well, and a straight line here, but I don't want to get involved with a straight or not straight line. I just want to let it blend with the background. And do you remember we said the back is bended inwards? So I can come and bring a little bit more of a back here, but bend it as well. Now here, on this point here, is where the hip connects with the rest of the body here. And then you have that anchor here, or that slightly bended outwards line which connects with the rest of her lower hip and bum as well. Then you have one thigh here, and maybe give her a little bit more longer thigh as well. Now that is one thigh and the other thigh, the right thigh, and this is the left. I think it needs to go a little bit higher as well. So there is thicker thigh, much thicker than what I've done. There, that's better. And a general darker tone here. Break that dark line. And that turn of the calf here and the shin. kneecap, the right kneecap, her right kneecap, and her left kneecap here, possibly a little bit higher as well. See, I'm adjusting now the limbs. That turn, okay. Okay, now end of the shin, and this is the foot, and the toe of her left foot is actually here, slightly upwards, moving upwards, and the toes here. And you have that. Let me see the heel going right. Okay, on a vertical line. Actually, I've got it quite close to what I see on the original image. And that line here, that wrinkle or turn. The other foot. Yep, that heel is longer. So yes, might be close to that foot. Both, they're closer together, but the heel is further out. Around it. There. Okay. All right. Okay, let's continue building up the body structure. Get rid of that line, which was the connecting axis for the right arm and the left arm. I'll leave that line here because that suggests muscle. So clear it up here and leave that as it was. A little bit less chin. Less chin. It looks like a double chin, which is a mistake. Bit less dark that line, or at least the double shadow that I've put on here, and maybe a little bit wider here. Yes, it needs to go a little slightly a little bit wider. Here I can give up or bring up some light on the breast here, a bit of light, thin up that area, bring up a little bit of the kneecap here and the thigh, and the thigh here. There we are. And lighter tone all around the hip, a little bit more distance between the hip, bum and her foot. And you see that I've lowered that line. It was high, it was there. I lowered it because the foot was quite big. So that makes a bit more sense. And more shape in between the heel and the sole of the foot, and give it a general darker tone here. There, quite a darker tone. I can afford to have those marks here. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of charcoal, but they're not here because this is the back foot, and the back foot is best to be kept like this with very little shadows. There. And a little bit wider this one. There. And that upper arm needs to go wider as well. The right one. Doesn't have to go the line all the way down and connect them. Let those lines in between. Give the neck a little bit more of a clearer dark and light area. Dark and light. Okay, a little bit more of a jaw. Lighter area of the head. And chin. Lighter on the chin, this area. A little bit lighter the nose. There. A little bit lighter under the eye. And in between the eyebrow and the eye. There. And a little bit of a lighter tone. Cheek. Jaw. And forehead. There. And calf. Now on the calf, this area is important. That wrinkle here, which is basically created by the calf and the thigh. I can leave those marks here, but not up there. Bit more of the kneecap. Create a kneecap here, there. So I'm actually lifting up a little bit more the kneecap, and that will increase the size of the shin and the lower foot. Maybe I did increase it a lot. Yes, a little bit more than I needed to. But the goal was to increase the thigh, basically. There. There. What I see here now is to make a little bit of a bend of the thigh. There. And bending outwards the thigh. There. Okay. And the kneecap doesn't stand out for good. I need to make it, or not bring it back the size as it was, but then lower this one. And soften that movement, that bone structure there. Soften that. by doing those movements or that shadow, it creates kind of a movement. There. And there. And we have the fingers which are doing, that's the thumb, and you have the lower finger, small finger, ring finger, and the rest which we don't see actually because of their positioning. I'm lowering a little bit the nose. Bit of an eyebrow. Eyebrow. The eye. Bit more of a jaw structure here. That line. And chin. Bit more prominent. And the cheekbone. Bit of hairline. And I think I brought that quite high up. The shoulder, maybe a little bit more than it's needed. Although it's quite good because it elongates the body, and the whole spine elongates it. And a general lighter tone on the upper body. Create that part of the muscle which is the armpit. Breast form. Okay, and raise a little bit of the kneecap, I think. Yes, needs to go a little bit higher. The kneecap here. There. And leave that area light. bit of lighter tone here. The muscle here at the top, a bit lighter. Get rid of those very, very dark tones. And the roundness of the neck, which connects to the spine. There. I think that foot looks longer than it needs to be. So on a vertical line going from the head to toe, that will be head to toe. Yeah, I need to cut that toe here a little bit and increase the heel on this side. There. And here as well. And give it a lighter tone on the whole of the bicep, on the back part of the bicep, because we cannot see the bicep here. And also soften all these dark lines here. By highlighting that, creates that side muscle. I mean the spine muscle. A little bit of a thicker neck. And a bit less darky. That is the soft tonal value of the body. And a bit of reflected light under the thigh. Okay. And the other thigh. Okay. Okay, now looking at the original picture, we see that the kneecap and the whole right leg is darker. And the darkest dark on the whole figure is the right leg, or shin. Let's be more accurate, because we cannot see the leg, but the shin, yes. And what I need to do here to bring up a little bit more of a hip. Here, the line of the back of the bum, it's not there, it just disappears with the background. You will see it on the original picture. So I'm completely merging this line there. The background is slightly darker than the body, well, a lot darker. So I can put the background or keep it as it is, doesn't have to be any darker, it's good as it is. Now here we separate the body from the upper arm and the neck as well, which is right here. I think there's an angle there about, it's, well, 10-15 degrees angle. If that continues like that, it's about 10 degrees, yes. And shoulder, drop the shoulder a little bit more there. Here is the lower arm, which continues that way, but we don't see it. Elbow, and then a little bit of elbow here. And the shoulder here, and the neck. And what I need to do here I see the shoulder blade popping out. It's like a little mountain here, quite light. But to do that, to achieve that light little hill, what is best to do is to darken it, give it a darker tone, and then spread that dark with, well, I'm doing it with a brush, but you can do it with your fingers or a brush if you have one handy close by. There. And that's the same. Body dark here. All that area of the body is quite dark. Here. Here. Well, we've done it before, earlier on, so I can give it another layer of dark tone. And here you have it. And yes, what I think I need to do is to raise this. Raise the cuff line. There. This is what I was thinking earlier on, that it looks like too high or too long, the kneecap. So I can bring it back. I can leave it as it is now and just raise this in height, and that brings into place the other kneecap. Now that's a very dark shadow. I'll get rid of it in a while. Now that very dark shadow would be best to soften it like this. And there. And here as well. There. And here the same. Soften with the brush. Well, I like the way it's coming up now, because it's a nice tube of dark lines on both sides, which is not a bad thing to look at, but it's not as dark as that on the original picture. So what I'm also thinking, I find that a little bit long, still a little bit long. So what I'm thinking now is bring the foot higher. So this way I'm shortening the shin. Big toe and the other toes, small toe, well, smaller and smaller, second smaller, big toe here. There we have it. And then raise the platform. So as I moved the foot up, raise the platform here. And here we have where the foot takes the turn. And bone here. And also give the calf a little bit more of a rounded shape. Even thicker here, right here. There we are. There we are. Okay. That's a little bit better now. Brighten up a little bit the breast here. Well, before I do that, is to raise a little bit the thigh. Make it more bended. There. 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 Oh, that way I made the breast smaller, but that's fine. Give it a little bit of a lighter tone here. And we've said to raise the lift up to show the shoulder blade. And there's the other shoulder blade, so that's the left one, and this is the right one. And possibly the neck actually looks a little bit longer on the original picture, but maybe not, just might be an illusion, because I think I got it right here. The neck is not bad actually, so here I can give it a little bit of a light tone where the cylinder of the neck is, or supposed to be, or should be. And then is the line here, and bring it right down to the neck and make that line there, which defines the shoulder. And the neck. Now here I can now easily come and darken a little bit the thigh. So a general darker tone on the lower part of the thigh. Again, as you can see, the brush helps a lot to create a very smooth transition between shadows. And we have the thigh, which turns here and creates that bulges out this part of the thigh. And then the thigh itself goes like that. Okay, I've gone too strong here. Very bold move what I've done here, but give it a little bit of, let's be a bit patient. Patient. because what I'm going to do is to make it softer. Okay. And instead of brightening that area a little bit more, I can darken the background a little bit. So then this part of the kneecap will look way brighter when you darken the background. There we are. See? It pops out. This is what I was mentioning to some of us, to darken the background, and that brings the kneecap quite to our attention a lot. So it creates that beautiful, and also it's nice to have a little bit of a background, dark background every now and then, like a little bit of a puzzle here. And the bone structure of the kneecap. There we are. And a little bit of less dark in between the chin and the shoulder. There. That part of the face is in light. There. Eyebrow, the eye, the ear is a little bit, I just closed her eye actually. That was by accident. There. And the ear is a bit further out. There. Much further out than I had it previously. And the bun here. I mean, what I've done on the kneecap, I could, and you could, apply it here. Why not? A little bit on the upper shoulder. Give that dark tone of value here. There. And the shoulder blade of, I think I need to make the breast a little bit more, because I think I cut it by a lot. Bit darker, and of course you cannot leave it as dark as that because we are competing with the blacks now here. You cannot have the background as dark, or you can leave the background as it is, but you cannot have the breast as dark. So you need to choose where the darkest darks will be or where they are, and we don't have to invent darks, they are there. We're just copying it or reproducing them, but not on a realistic way. Not entirely on a realistic way, because that's not a photography, it's a drawing. Jawline. See, now that I've pushed the ear a little bit further to the right. I have the need now to go a little bit wider with the neck. Now, why is that? Because the ear, as the ear moved right, you cannot have the same neck, because otherwise the neck stays behind. So you need to, you and me, we need to, when we move one feature, we need to check what's happening with the rest of the face, or the rest of the, this is what I was commenting with Teresa last time, is that every measurement or every part of the body, every time you change it, or you make it smaller, or you move, like I've changed the neck, that affects other parts of the body. The ear, for instance. Also, the neck is getting closer to the shoulder. Now, what happens to the shoulder? Is the shoulder smaller? Is the shoulder narrower? Or is it okay because we needed to do that change anyway? I think I leave the shoulder as it is, because it doesn't have to be, as I said, a precise, realistic copying of the figure. We do have what we need, which is basically the gesture. It's there. There is a movement of her body, which we've got it. Maybe that hand here is a little bit exaggerated, but sometimes exaggerated features create more dynamism, and this is what we're doing about. This is what is the figure drawing is about. It's dynamism. Again, might not be accurate, might not be real, might not be exact, but this is not an exact science. It's a drawing, a reproduction of the human body through our eyes. Now you might say to me, okay, well, we say that because we cannot copy the exact. No, we can. If you stay there for a week and you do it again and again and again, and you have the patience of repeating the same thing, you will get the exact copy or reproduction of the move. But that's not the point. Otherwise, well, why do that instead of taking a photo? Take a picture, take a photo of the image, and there you are. You're done. But that's not the point. The point is for us to understand what we're drawing. So this is the underlying structure, which is basically the bone structure of the body, her body. And this is where the spine is when she's twisted. So we see the spine is visible only here. Here is not, because it becomes the outline. There. And cut a little bit the bum here. Make it a little bit more kind of, a little bit more squarish, but not square, of course. And here. And come in here and create that other thigh, which is the right thigh. There. Now I've gone too bright down there because it's not as bright as that. It's just under the shadow, but you know, you can soften it. And again, it's not an exact copy. I'm not trying to create an exact, because otherwise I'll be here for hours. And you will be bored as well. It's to get the movement as quick as we can. And of course, I do admit it's not a quick drawing anymore or a quick sketch, but let's call it a study. Now I need to choose what shoulder blade I'm creating or giving it more prominence. Is this or that? You cannot have both. Well, you can have them both bright as they are in the original picture, but it's best to choose what the artist, what I would like us to see or emphasize more. And this is it. That's a better choice. I think this one. Well, next week I might choose that one if I do the same drawing. So it's also what I'm trying possibly to saying here is that it's also a personal decision what you, me, each and every one of us would like to give more attention to which muscle, because they seems to be, both of those shoulder blades are quite bright, both. So you choose to give them or emphasize one or the other. So that's a bone structure and muscle structure mayhem there. It's quite a little bit of a... It's not easy to define properly because of the movement as well of the body, which is very peculiar. And as I said, we're not seeing either the spine or the shoulder blades both, because it's the twisting of the body which is making it a little bit more complicated. But that's the beauty of drawing nudes and movements of nudes, because this is what you need. Best thing to do is to simplify complicated moves. And not best, that's the hardest thing. I said the best, but yes, that's the best, but also it's the hardest. See that shoulder, because she's moving the lower, that arm on the right, she's doing that movement, or that way, or facing that way. Then you have the bone which looks here, but also the shoulder itself, the shoulder blade itself, all of it becomes all more prominent. But I'm softening that dark here a little bit more. Okie dokie. I think he's good. Don't want to spend another hour here, so I think I'll leave it at that. And the movement is good, proportions are fine. They're not perfect, but they're not terrible either. Well, you might say they're terrible, but you know. I don't want to spend, again, more hours, because the essence is there. The gist of it, the movement of the body is there. The gesture is there. Okay, well, I'll see you on the next one then. Oh, before I go, what we said with Teresa, but not only Teresa, that's for all of us, is to measure how many times the head enters the body. So I'll go to the original image now and measure the head, and I'll show you how I measure it. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4.5. Okay, let's see that. I'll measure it again. Top of the head to the chin. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's not 4.5. It's just about 4. So top of the head to the chin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, 4.5. So I've got a small head. I knew that. Okay. So this is it, Teresa, when we say that measuring limbs to the rest of the body, or measuring limbs with each other. Let's say limbs with each other. Okay, let's see. The opening of the hand is there. It is the size of the face. I knew that would be the case. Let me see it again. One. Yeah, not quite, but yes, that's what it should be. So as I've created that opening of the hands here, and they're not completely widely open, they're kind of, it's a movement. She's not opening the fingers just to measure her head, but from the end of the palm to the fingers, we've said that we'll have to cover the chin to the hairline. So what I've measured there on the original is that the opening of these two of the hand is pretty much the length, or the length of the from chin to. So I'm measuring this finger to that, and I'm going to the face, chin to the hairline. Still the face is a little bit small on me. I was aware of that because I've seen it before, but I like it that way. Now you might say, well, because I had it before. Do you remember we had it here? I had it there, so that was quite big before. But then to sacrifice the size of the head, I moved the chin up because I saw that the chin to the shoulder the distance was quite substantial on the original drawing. So I made that conscious decision to bring the chin up. But I knew that I will delete or reduce the size of the head. But I think that makes it even better because it makes her more like a warrior with a small head and big body and muscly. Well, not muscly, but it gives her like a very dynamic woman and pose and girl and heroic and all that. It's like a character, movie character. And she's actually quite, the original picture is very heroic looking character. So I said it's four times. So that is, let me do it again. 1, 2, here. So I'm taking that top of the head to the chin. 1, 2, here, 3, yeah, 4, 4.5. Yes, it's much smaller, my head, much smaller. But as I said, I had it big, I reduced it, and these are the consequences. You cannot have everything. When you reduce the head, that shows or affects other parts of the body. And we've done the measurement of the hand and the measurement of the head for this time, Teresa. And for everyone, not only for Teresa, but especially for Teresa, which I've said I'll do it on the next video. And the mirrors, I'll do it later on, either this week or the week after. Okay. Have a good week. Enjoy the drawing. Bye-bye.